Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of Whether or Not. Today we have some nature in the news about algae blooms off of Chile. Brian has our update on the warm weekend ahead, and Allie has some features on the live broadcast team here at Penn State. All that and much, much more coming up. Welcome back, everybody, to this episode of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Narsutis.
And I'm your forecaster, Brian Cizek.
Well, Brian, it sure has been an interesting week here in central Pennsylvania. Temperatures fluctuating quite a bit. February 14th, Valentine's Day, got up to 47 degrees. Pretty warm for this time of year. However, other days have gotten pretty chilly.
Yes, Drew, we've kind of been all over the place this last week. We've had some cold days, we've had some warm days, we've had some snow, we've had some rain, so never a dull moment this last week.
There you go. Speaking of not dull moments, our upcoming is a pretty big week here in State College. We have FOM coming up for a lot of Penn Staters here. How do you think it's going to play out here for the weather?
Well, we're entering a bit of a pattern change, and it's more of a stable pattern than what we've been experienced this last week, and I'll have some more details coming up in my forecast.
Sounds awesome. Now let's go on to a great part of this show called Nature in the News. Japan doesn't have that much land to spare. That's why a company in Tokyo has announced a project to build the world's largest floating solar plant. The 13.7 megawatt floating solar power plant will be built on the Yakamura Dam reservoir. 51,000 solar modules will be installed in the waters of the reservoir, which is 1,800 square meters in area. The project is estimated to generate an estimated 16,170 megawatt electricity per year, enough to power up to 4,700 typical households. Only 3 countries in the world, Japan, India, and Australia, have built floating solar plants so far. Floating solar plants are actually very beneficial. Solar panels in the water perform better than that of the ones on land. Not only do they collect sunlight, but it's also shown that floating solar panels help slow algae growth in the water by stopping the sunlight from hitting it.
New research shows a recent 3-year surge in methane levels right here in northeastern Pennsylvania, a hub of the state's natural gas production. The researchers sampled the region's air in 2012 and again in 2015 and discovered a dramatic increase in atmospheric methane during this time period. They believe the overall increase in natural gas infrastructure and production caused the methane level rise, even though the rate of new well drilling went down. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas, and several states are trying to find ways to reduce its emissions. Here in Pennsylvania, Governor Tom Wolf launched a strategy last year to reduce the emissions from natural gas wells, compressor stations, and pipelines.
This week, an algal bloom killed some 170,000 salmon in Chile, the world's second biggest exporter of the fish after Norway. As the fish were being transported by boat, the salmon were struck, raising concern about an industry that was already devastated by an outbreak last year. Warm weather and little rain were some of the reasons for the algal bloom last year, and Chile has experienced some of the same weather this year, a Chilean meteorologist has commented. Harmful algal blooms occur when the aquatic plants grow out of control and produce toxic effects on fish. Last year, an algal bloom killed up to 20% of Chile's farmed salmon, some 25 million fish, pushing higher prices for the fish globally. The current algal outbreak is not located near any of the salmon farms that dot the southern Chile's coastline, but has infested sections of the shipping lanes used by producers.
When scientists looked at pictures of Venus, it appeared to be smiling back at them, sideways. In December 2015, Japan's Akatsuki spacecraft entered into Venus's orbit. When it powered up its instruments, it immediately discovered the bow-shaped feature in the atmosphere spanning 6,000 miles, almost from pole to pole. Although Venus's winds blow at speeds up to 250 miles per hour, the colossal sideways smile remained fixed above the ground. The feature was short-lived and only reappeared for a few days in April and May. In a recent paper, scientists concluded that the bow-like feature was due to a gravity wave, a disturbance in the winds caused by the underlying topography that propagated the air upward. As for exactly why the winds blow so fast, well, scientists are still working to figure that out. Hello, I am Brian Cizek with your Central Pennsylvania forecast, and if you are sick and tired of the cold, dreary winter weather, then boy, do I have a treat for you this upcoming weekend. But first, let's check out the meteorological setup for the weekend and a pretty uneventful weather pattern for Friday on the entire eastern seaboard. We have this ridge of high pressure in our region that's bringing some nice fair conditions, nice sunny skies, but there's this larger center of high pressure down to our south, and that will eventually work its way to the north, bringing nice weather for the days to come. Now, moving into your Saturday, we have this low pressure develop low to our north up in Canada, and that will have an associated warm front move through the region. And coupling that with that center of high pressure that I had mentioned that moves a little bit to the north into the Carolinas, that will bring this southerly flow into the region, bringing well above average temperatures, setting up for an absolutely gorgeous weekend. And moving into your Sunday, a pretty similar day to your Saturday. That low moves a little bit to the east, but we're still right in that warm sector, and that high really just camping out down in the Carolinas, continuing to bring that southerly flow, bringing well above average temperatures for the weekend. Now, why don't we look at some specifics for your Friday? Still fairly mild for this time of year, 44 degrees with partly cloudy skies, and moving in to the overnight hours, temperatures dropping just above the freezing point to 33 degrees under partly cloudy skies. And into your Saturday, an absolutely gorgeous weekend, high of 57 degrees. That's about 17 degrees above the average for this time of year. Mix in clouds and sun, so a great day to get some outdoor activities in. Can't draw up any better weather for the Thon weekend. And a very similar day on Sunday, even a little bit warmer, high of 58 degrees under mostly sunny skies. So a great day to go for a jog. Maybe the golf courses might even be open to hit the links. But right now, why don't we go out to Allie, who has a feature on the live broadcast team.
We have a new warning right now that was issued in Indiana. So we're going to zoom in on that.
So that is when the snow will slowly start to move out and probably move east of State College.
And that is for a tornado that's been confirmed by the public on the ground.
The Walker Building Studio, located in room 527, is home to several clubs and talk shows. These student-run shows include the Campus Weather Service, Up in the Air, Weather or Not, Center County Report, and last but not least, the live broadcast team. What makes the live broadcast team so special is the fact that their entire broadcast is live. Most of the other clubs or shows are or have pre-recorded segments within them. What does the team do to create such elaborate broadcasts in real time? Well, the team incorporates several different aspects of a real-time broadcast by using a rundown similar to what a news producer would use. This allows each member behind the scenes or in front of the camera to know exactly which time slot they are in. Another unique thing they do is throw the weathercast to several different shots or locations depending on the weather scenario. When weather is local, the team utilizes the live outside stand-up shot, where they can show viewers what is happening in their own backyards. The team also goes to a social media studio, where they can show what people are experiencing through platforms such as Twitter or Facebook. The broadcasts usually include two hosts who lead the broadcast, and also a weathercaster at the chroma key or green screen showing current radar analysis. Brian Mastro, a student at Penn State, is the executive producer of the team. He explains some of the technology used during the weathercast.
The bare bones of the broadcast is Google Hangout / YouTube Live. That's how we're able to get live on air. All of our broadcasts are done via YouTube, and basically just have everybody that's on the broadcast sign into their Gmail account or one of the spare Campus Weather Service Gmail accounts. And then we all get together in the Google Hangout, and then we can switch the feed, so we'll have people in the studio, we'll have a social media desk, we'll have live shots, basically whatever we think is necessary for that night's broadcast we can have. And then recently we've started using other pieces of technology such as Apple TV. That way we can get what we have outside with our live shots into the studio as well. So we can have, for example, a double box with somebody at the desk and then somebody outside in the elements as well.
Another thing that makes the live broadcast team quite different is that it is a student-run organization, but they broadcast any severe weather event across the country. This is to inform all viewers of dangers the weather system can cause anywhere across the U.S.
One benefit being a university club as opposed to a local news station is we don't have to keep it hyper local. If something's happening in Oklahoma and we want to broadcast about it, we can do that.
The live broadcast team has been in action since 2013 and continues to impress. At the National Weather Association Conference in 2016, the live broadcast team won a prize at the Poster Exposition in Norfolk, Virginia.
Amanda Reynolds and myself, Amanda Reynolds was then the vice president of the Campus Weather Service, presented a poster at the National Weather Association Conference in Norfolk, Virginia on the work that the Penn State Campus Weather Service live broadcast team has done over the past 2 years. And we actually won the undergraduate poster competition, which gave us pride that shows that our hard work is paying off and people recognize that.
Hello folks, I am back for your extended forecast, but first let's take a step back and look at your weekend recap. Friday, 44 degrees under partly cloudy skies, and Saturday and Sunday is when we're going to see that very nice weekend warm-up, 57 on Saturday, 58 on Sunday, with mostly sunny skies, so shaping up to be an absolutely gorgeous weekend. Now for your extended forecast, Monday, President's Day, looking a lot warmer for George Washington than it was for him down at Valley Forge when he was camped out there in the winter. Tuesday, the one cloudy day of the week, but temperatures still well above average. And looking at the end of the week, that temperature trend really starts to stabilize right around the 50-degree mark, and temperatures staying 10 degrees or more above average for the entire week. So really looking like a warm and stable pattern for next week.
Well, thank you for that forecast, Brian. I sure am looking forward to those warmer temperatures and plentiful sunshine. Might even go out for a jog personally. And I know with all those Penn Staters that are going to Thon are going to have a field day as well.
Yes, if you enjoy going outside and having some fun in the sun, I think you're really going to like this weekend.
Yes. Speaking of warmer temperatures, earlier in the show we asked on our Weather Whiz quiz question, what was the highest temperature recorded in February in State College? Was it A, 65 degrees, B, 73 degrees, C, 84 degrees, or D, 97? If you guessed C, you are correct. The recorded high temperature of 84 degrees Fahrenheit was in State College in the late 1800s. State College had yet to see such a high temperature in February since then, but this weekend is posing a threat possibly to this record.
Well, Drew, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near 84, but still going to feel more like spring than it has recently.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we are all out of time here for our show. I am your host, Drew Narsutis.
And I'm your forecaster, Brian Cizek.
See you guys later.